think we are live now. Hopefully there wasn't too long of a delay there. I think my hard drive was sleeping. This is Doug Cunnington here, and let me know in the chat if you can hear me. This is a day where we're going to answer some questions. Q&A, we call it. Talk about some affiliate marketing, keyword research, niche sites, and probably some random stuff. I'm not putting the little screen up that has the countdown. We're just going to roll with it today. So let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Let me know if the volume level is okay. A couple weeks ago it was a little bit quiet, but I think I have taken care of that. And I get this thing right up in my mouth hole area so you can hear me really well. All right. Got the lights on back there, which is something I added a few weeks ago. And I think it adds a little more depth, and it looks a little festive, but it's going to be up all year round. So don't worry about that. It's not just for the holidays. We have David on. David, how are you today? Good to see you. And David's one of our fine moderators in the chat, keeping order, making sure everyone is nice there. Zach is on too. Zach Khan or Can. Either one is fine. Quick note as we're getting started here. I want to mention a couple things. One, thanks to ODYS, that's ODYS, where you can get aged domains. I'm going to talk more about them a little bit later. They're a sponsor of these live streams, as is Ezoic. And you can check out their Leap product, which helps your site load faster, helps you get green core web vitals. They will help you out if you're having some trouble in that area. The good thing about Leap is it's free if you're monetizing with Ezoic. So you can't beat the price on that. You do have to monetize with Ezoic. However, there's no page view limit on that. So even if your site's just getting started, you could take advantage and use those tools. So thanks to those two sponsors. And Gaz is on as well. And greetings from across the pond. And I have taken over at this point Alex's, that's WP Eagle, his live stream time. So first I was going after him, and then he's going to be out for a little bit. And I kind of jumped around times, but I decided I'm just going to take his time today. So hopefully, I should have told him to just tell people to come to mine. That would have been helpful. But either way, people will find it. If you do have questions, you can ask in the chat. I will come around, if you ask and I don't happen to answer it right away, I'll come around to it. So no need to ask again. And the other thing that I want to ask a favor for, and I know it turns out most people watch the replay of this live stream. Like, I think it's 95%, some massive amount, which is kind of cool. It's kind of cool that, that many people do check it out. One thing that I try to promote is my two podcasts. So one's the Doug.Show Podcast at Doug.Show. You can find it on all of the major directories and podcast players. The other one is Mile High Fi. Now, the thing with Mile High Fi, it's about personal finance. It's very fun. I have a co-host named Carl Jensen who's been on my podcast a couple times. This other podcast has its own YouTube channel, and one thing that I would like is to have more subscribers. So for the people that are watching live, certainly go check it out. But in the show notes here or the description on YouTube, I am linking to the Mile High Fi podcast YouTube channel. And currently we have 437 subscribers. And I would love it if you're interested in personal finance. If you don't care about this stuff, then that's okay. No need to subscribe to the channel. But if you care about personal finance, please subscribe to that channel. It'd be really cool to inch up a little bit. Turns out we actually get quite a few downloads and views. We have, the other crazy thing is we have pretty big guests that come through because Carl and I know a lot of people. So we're able to get on some pretty big guests. For example, one of the people we interviewed recently is JL Collins, who has one of the most viewed Google Talks on YouTube. So if you if you look around, yeah, I think JL's Google Talk has like over 1 million views, and it's roughly in like the top 20 of all the Google Talks. And honestly, I'm not sure if there's a lot of other people that have been on a Google Talk that have been on our show, but because Carl knows a lot of people and I know a handful, we were able to get some pretty impressive guests for the size of our channel. Anyway, I'd like to have some more people subscribe to it. So if you're into personal finance or financial independence, there's going to be some topics that you will definitely enjoy. So David, Zach, Gaz, what's going on with you all? Anything new? Any questions that you might have that I can answer here? And one thing I could tell you about is I actually kept a couple notes here about some random stuff. Oh yeah, I was going to mention that I've been trying to improve my cardio a little bit recently. And I think I'd been a little lazy over the past, I don't know, I hit a stretch of about 6 months. I mean, I was just doing like really light cardio. I have to cough. It's so funny. I was doing a coaching call earlier and I was literally on the coaching call, never coughed once. It was like an hour and a half. As soon as I start the live stream, I got a tickle in my throat. I even got some herbal tea to help fight through. All right. So Gaz has a good question here. It's about Google. It's about the Google Search Console and analytics. So why does my analytics say I'm getting paid views with average time durations and events, but Search Console doesn't register a page click? Okay. So it could be bots. What is the average time duration? What is happening? I have observed more and more bots over time. And sometimes you could tell bots are coming from a specific geography. Like some bots, come through. Or I've seen a lot from China, basically, and you can see like the URL and like the origin and the server from which they originate. And I could tell they're bots because they spend like 0 to 1 second on the site. So it could be that they're getting to the site not through search, but through some other mechanism, which I don't even know what it would be. But you can filter some of those out so that you don't have that noise in there. And, further, you guys can check to see where the traffic came from. So what is the acquisition? Could be organic, could be social, could be direct, could be some other thing. But I have a feeling that is what it is. So we can look at it, right? So if you have page views in some duration of time, it just means page views and duration of time. It doesn't mean someone searched for your site and then clicked on the result page. So those are totally independent things. A nomad overseas, what's going on? And guys, since you're a fine member of the live stream audience, tell us about your site a little bit. So you've been working on, you're very patient. You encourage other people to be patient as well. How long have you been working on your site? How many posts are there? And tell us about the kind of page views that you are seeing and some of the other details, maybe like the breakdown of like informational versus affiliate review content. And actually, let's open it up. Let's have the community mention everything that you have on your site. So if you are working on a site, let us know how long you've been working on it. Let us know the number of posts, informational versus product review, amount of traffic, any other details you want to share, just so people kind of have a baseline what other folks are working on and what you have going on. Guys mentions the average page duration is actually pretty long. So it's 2 minutes and 45 seconds and more sometimes. Is it you? Like, how many page views is it? Is it when you are checking out pages, or maybe, if you have other people working on the site, maybe they're hopping over there? So once you start digging down in the data, you can pick some things out. So one thing I'm working on is, and just to be transparent, so over on Niche Site Project, I used to blog quite a bit. I used to rank for a handful of terms related to niche sites and affiliate marketing and related SEO terms. And then I started doing a lot more live streams like this one. I started publishing more on YouTube and more podcasts, and I started another podcast, and basically I stopped writing. I stopped writing anything that would pull in more traffic. In fact, I'm pretty sure the last update that I actually made over on Niche Site Project was in June of 2020. There could have been a minor tweak here or there after that. But roughly, we're talking essentially a year and a half of me not publishing new stuff. And for a certain period of time, traffic was still moving up. Somewhere early in 2021, my traffic dropped a little, one of those algorithm updates. And then I think the last time it dropped, it was maybe in June or July. There may have been another drop more recently, but all this neglect has hurt the traffic on the site. So I know exactly which posts were bringing in traffic, and I had spent a lot of time working on those posts in the past. And some of them do actually require a significant amount of updates. It's something that I probably should update on a quarterly basis or so. And the nature of working in affiliate marketing and trying to get organic search traffic about affiliate marketing topics is you're competing with other marketers. So everyone knows what they're doing. So everyone is trying to get traffic. They're using the other tools. They have more energy than me and more motivation to write content. And I got lazy. I started working on other things, and I got a little bit lazy. So I got so bored that I started working on it again. And today I started to update a post where you can see several examples of Amazon affiliate sites. And as I mentioned, the nature of this whole arena is people can go and see what keywords you're ranking for. They can go reverse engineer the kind of content that you've written, and they can go look at all the competition and see what's out there to hopefully, outrank you. And I mean, in the long run, like, hopefully they're producing better content that serves the searcher even better. So it should be an iterative thing where the competition actually creates better results over time. So I haven't updated something that needed to be updated for a long time, and I finally started on it this morning. I've only updated a couple of the parts, but as I'm getting into it, I see some interesting stuff. And I hope that, making the updates will help me rank better for the specific term, which is something like Amazon affiliate websites, specifically examples of such websites. And I ranked for it really well. Now, one thing, and I'll tell you the plan because you're going to be able to see it later anyway. But when I did this before, I, wrote the content, provided some commentary and a little bit of an overview on each one of the sites. I had 17. I think at one point I had maybe in the 20s, but then I whittled some down that were kind of crappy sites. Some of the competitors out there, they may have, 50 of them listed. I saw one, something like Squirrel Wallet. They actually got a lot of, they published their post after I did, and they got, a lot of traction, and they've outranked me pretty handily for a pretty long time. And I've tried to do things. I've tried to silo content. I've tried to do other things to rank that page. I tried to make it really long form. I tried to make it shorter, and I couldn't quite crack it. And I kind of gave up, and I thought, you know what? I'm just going to try to provide the most useful content that I can on that topic. So that's what I've done. That's what was out there until I stopped updating it. So I'm going to update it. I'm probably going to add more. There are, other websites that I can look at and see that they are good examples, that I should put them on my list as well. The one thing that I do have is this great YouTube channel that I've put whatever thousands of hours into. So there's a lot of sort of traction that I can get on the YouTube side. And if you look way back in the archive, it's been a few years at this point. And thanks for the questions, everybody. I'm going to come to the questions in a minute here. So one thing that I did in the past was website teardowns, and the website teardowns were pretty popular. At some point in time, when people, watch them, at some point, they knew the punchline. They knew the punchline as soon as they started watching the video, because really there's, I don't know, 8 to 15 things that we can look at and evaluate and say, oh, this needs to be fixed. Someone's doing a good job on that. That needs to be fixed, blah, blah, blah. So at some point, you get the punchline, they're not as valuable. And if you look back, I probably have, if I had to guess, between 20 and 50 website teardowns. Some of them are old. So what I can do is update this piece of content over on Niche Site Project so that it's now up to date as of December 14th, 2021. But I can also emulate what my buddy Matt Giovanisi did. And he published website teardowns for a pretty long time. He did that for a month, 31 days. He did it in October, and he got some nice traction. Now, the one thing that Matt didn't do was have the example post on his site. So what I'll be able to do is link, each one of the website teardowns back to the post where I have just updated it. And then from the post, I can link to each one of the new teardowns. So there's a nice sort of symbiotic relationship, hopefully, where those things are helping each other out. If someone Googles the term and they end up on my site, they may end up on YouTube watching one of the reviews, and vice versa. So it's a nice way for those pieces of content to work together and hopefully bring more value overall. The good part with the teardowns and kind of my newer, or not necessarily a newer understanding of YouTube, but some of my teardowns before were very long. Some of them were a little too long. So I kind of understand the sweet spot of I guess, the content that I like to watch, how long that is. And then I can see content that is roughly 10 minutes, give or take, is something that I like to watch. And I can see when I publish something on my channel that's about 10 minutes long, it does much better than some of the other content that drags on forever, which is a large number of it. So I'm about to start answering some questions here. Please hit the thumbs up if you have a moment. We have 11 likes so far, and I would love to see some more. I'm going to answer questions. So good triggers. If I answer your question, hit the thumbs up. A Nomad Overseas says you're flying out to Thailand on Saturday. You're hoping to get a lot of pictures and videos for a whole load of posts while you're out there. Nice. That'll be nice, unique content for you. Hyena says, how many months is a website in the sandbox, and how many months we should move on to probably another project if we don't get any traction? So typically the sandbox 6 to 12 months. And I generally don't encourage people to move on to another project because really what's happening is like you're just not getting as much feedback early on, and you can put in effort, you can put in more and more effort and you don't see any results, so you feel like you're wasting your time. But if you put all of your effort into your site while you're in the sandbox, most likely when you get out of the sandbox, you'll see a much greater growth trajectory when you get out of the sandbox if you put more effort in. And it makes sense, right? It makes sense that if you put more effort in, you're going to get better results on the other side. So I don't encourage you to move on to another project. Gaz says, my site's about 4 months old with 38 posts. Nice. To be honest, I've exhausted my keywords in the niche and you're just letting it mature for a bit. The articles are a mix of 70% information with product suggestions, not reviews. Okay. And so I take it, guys, that it's a pretty small niche then if you're already out of keywords. And you've mentioned in the past that you're not getting too much traction right now. And that concerns me because if it's a niche where you're running out of keywords and you only have 38 posts and 38 keywords is my interpretation, that tells me that it's probably a small niche. And honestly, you probably should be getting a lot more traffic if it's a small niche. That's the trade-off typically. I have seen people do pretty well really quickly in a very small niche because it's so narrow. But the unfortunate part is they're painted in a corner. They can't expand much because of that. And I like that you have 70% informational post, and I would say, product suggestions are totally fine. That's cool. Zishan says, I have a question about keyword research. In this, how we know. All right, let me start that again. How do we know a niche is good or bad if we target 3 to 6 months to get affiliate sales continuously, number of KGR keywords or SERP results? So you can't really tell if a niche is good or bad based on the number of KGR keywords. That's kind of an independent thing. Because here's the thing. You could find a lot of KGR keywords, but if it's something where people are not making purchases or there's just generally not a lot of traffic around it, then you may not be in good shape. Oh, I think I got to sneeze out. And why don't you, Zihan, why don't you rephrase your question? What are you really trying to ask? And you're also asking about like SERP results. You should always look at SERP results. Highly recommend that. Yeah, rephrase your question. I think you're saying, how do you make sure that you get affiliate sales continuously 3 to 6 months? What does that mean? Like within 3 to 6 months? Work on your question. Ask again. Zach says, my main site is over a year old, 115 articles, 25,000 sessions per month, and 75% informational and 25% affiliate, although the info articles will have an affiliate link too. Cool. So, Zach, I'm curious, when you were 4 months in, like Gaz, how many articles did you have and how much traffic did you get? Do you happen to remember? Not exact, but just the ballpark. That way, we can compare, see how it goes. All right. Eld says, apparently my host did not like Ezoic integration because when I replace the CDN, So you placed an ad and then put it back on the CDN. The ads are still showing in the profit, but I can't access Leap. What are my thoughts? So, okay, so Eld asked a series of questions about integrating with Ezoic, earning and using Leap, and so on. So I cannot help you very well on a live stream. You should contact Ezoic support and let them know that you're having some trouble. And if you have any issues getting, your question answered, let me know. Just shoot me an email. But unfortunately, a live stream is not a good place to get customer support, and I don't support Ezoic product in any capacity. They sponsor this, and I talk about them, but I can't, help you officially in any capacity at all. I'm sorry that you had the issue, but if you contact Ezoic, they should be able to help you out. Kenny says you run a car club site and it has a small shop selling car parts, but looking to increase revenue. The site gets 300,000 views a month. Do you think I should link out to affiliate sites or go for display ads? So it depends on the kind of content that you are getting visitors on. So I would probably direct you, if it's informational in nature, I would tell you work on the display ad side. And I would recommend Ezoic. There's a link in the description, which is my affiliate link. They can get you hooked up and running and all that stuff. If you sign up with them, I get a commission if you end up earning any money. It's free to sign up, of course. If you have content where you're reviewing a product or you're providing a how-to where you can recommend a product that'll help someone do it faster or easier or cheaper, then that would be a time that you could recommend a product as well. An example would potentially be, let me think of a good one for a car, for the car idea. I would say maybe like how to get better gas mileage. So you may have some tips in there, how to get better gas mileage, like make sure your tires are inflated, use the right fuel. But you could also say, make sure you have a new high performance, clean air filter. So you can use an affiliate link for that air filter, and that would make total sense. So it's how to get better gas mileage. And there's a few things you could do on your own, but you could also recommend a product that will help you do it. So Kenny, the overall answer is you should probably do both depending on what kind of content your visitors are checking out. You hopefully, since you know how much traffic you get per month, then you should be able to tell exactly, where to focus. And if you need any help, let me know. If you're getting 300,000 views a month, you should be able to earn a pretty good amount of money with display ads out of the gate, and it'll probably increase over time. With display ads, especially Ezoic, they optimize over time, so you will end up with, better revenue as the site is optimized. Mark, what's happening? Yeah, you've been watching for a while since the snack helmet teardown. Funny you mentioned the teardown. I was just saying I'm probably going to do more teardowns and potentially some of the old teardowns that I've done in the past too. Do a little update. Okay, this is good information. So Zach says, after 4 months, I had 50 to 60 articles and 300 sessions per month, but the sessions were growing about 2x month over month during that period. I got most growth between months 4 and 10. So Gaz mentions that you're 4 months in, you have 38 articles, you have 300 impressions. So how many clicks, how many sessions? Ariel says you must have a handful of age sites. Do I stop publishing articles on them, or do you keep them going hundreds of articles in? I basically stopped publishing. So one thing that I realized is I don't like having too many things going on at once. It's stressful. So I have some age sites where I've literally just stopped publishing and the traffic has dwindled, and it's been a few years and I keep thinking, maybe I'll go back and do something, and I never do. At some point I will probably unload a couple of these sites, but I don't have a big portfolio. I don't want to have that. And I have stopped publishing, and I encourage people to like quit projects. You know, I'm saying one thing in one context and then contradicting it in another. Sometimes you got to work on a site for a while and be patient. If you have a few sites, some of them are working well, you should probably just focus on those. And it's okay to ignore other projects that aren't working as well. And as I let myself stop caring about some of the things that were going okay, I mean, some of these at some point were earning, $1,500, $2,000 per month, sometime in various different affiliate programs. And I just kind of got a little bored with them, and I stopped doing anything with them. And it was freeing, and I wasn't as stressed out, and I was able to focus on the other projects more, and those grew better. And Gaz says, I'd be up for a teardown. Yeah, can you elaborate? You mean you want me to tear down your site? Is that what you're saying? Or the teardowns that I'm going to do are going to be, actually, I could put a link in the description. It's going to be featured. And typically I don't like to tear down people's sites because, guys, what happens is people are going to copy your site, and they're going to take your keywords and then, or they'll hit you with negative SEO. And I have no idea how other people do those teardowns on their channels. And I don't know. I would not want to have my channel, I would not want to have my site torn down on a channel where thousands of people will watch it. It just seems like you're shooting yourself in the foot. But yeah, what did you mean? Just, you mean like general teardowns of other sites? And I'll actually post this is the one I'm updating here. So I've only updated part of it. Actually, just the first 20% or so, if that, maybe not even that much. Okay. So Hyena says, what are the basics of choosing a best niche? What kind of research one should do before opting for one? I know you get this question countless times. Yeah. And I got to be honest, I did a whole, actually, I've done like at least 2 live streams in the last few months where the topic was how to choose a niche, and then some analysis of those niches. Hyena, did you watch those? If not, check them out. So the basics of choosing a niche: make sure people are searching for it, make sure people are spending money on it, make sure you have some kind of interest in it. That's about it. You should have some idea about how you're going to monetize it. But if there are products, you could probably have reviews on those. And if there's a lot of informational topics, but not many products, that's okay. You can have display ads. So that's pretty much it. I think one of the biggest things to look for is an interest in the topic. I did an interview very recently with Christy, and we talked about how important it was for her to have an interest in the topic area. She said it was extremely important for her. And the thing is, like if you are in the niche, if you're interested in it, then you'll know what other people in the niche are interested in, and you'll have some insight on the specifics and the vocabulary and some of the inside, I guess, knowledge that random people won't have. So if you are just trying to, randomly pick something and you don't know anything about it, someone who is interested in that niche and they're part of the community, they'll know as soon as they land on your site that you don't know what you're talking about. All right. And Laughing Hyena, like I said, go watch those other live streams where I actually talk about the topic and go into it. And you could also just go to my site. I basically put a link, if you go to Niche Site Project, Amazon affiliate, like I talk about all the shit that's right there. And by the way, if you're not signed up for my email list, you can go sign up, nichesiteproject.com, click the green button, and then enter your name and email, and I'll send you all my templates and systems and all that stuff. Gaz does say, you're right, Doug. It might be a bad idea tearing down your site. And Zach does mention 300 impression feels low for 4 months unless most of your content was added recently. Are you sure they're getting indexed? Yeah, good point. And guys, I think I've told you before, you probably need to have someone look at it to make sure you're not making some small mistakes. So find someone who's a little more experienced than you and have them take a look. It seems low to me too. I suspect you're doing something wrong. Eld says, is it legal to embed a YouTube video that's not yours? Yes. Basically, by default, YouTube videos are embeddable. If a YouTube creator doesn't want you to embed a video, there's a thing that they could check and then you can't embed it. So it's not only illegal, but they encourage it. They make it easy and they make it that way by default. Want to give a quick shout out to ODYS. That's ODYS.global. You can get age domains there, which will help you shortcut the sandbox. You can see I'm in the marketplace right here, and there's a ton of different filters that will help you find something that will work for you. And there are lots of them. There's so many domains here. And, people are asking like, oh, I'm 4 months in, or I'm this, how long until the sandbox and blah, blah, blah. And if you get an age domain, typically you're shortening the sandbox. There's no guarantee, but there's a strong chance. And let's say you have an existing site in a specific area. So let's say I have a site about fitness and I have a section on yoga. This site here may be perfect to redirect over to the yoga section of my site. So all those relevant links can point to it. So you can actually like point a domain to a silo of your site. Or if I had a site that was all about yoga in general, then I could just acquire this domain, build on top of it, or I can redirect it to my existing yoga domain. You can see the age of the site. This one is 26 years old, 1995. SEO metrics. So you can see it has a domain rating of 31, over 208 referring domains, and it's still indexed in Google. You can see where it's been featured, some of the amazing links like guidestar.org, yflies.org, vanderbilt.edu, wellnessliving.com, ucsf.edu, and several others. And it actually looks like there's quite a few EDUs. So if you join ODYS using my affiliate link with it, it's in the description there, so very easy to get to, then you can get $100 in your account, and they do sponsor the show. So would love it if you checked them out, at least clicked over there to say hello. Creative Ideas says, does KGR still work in 2021 or in the future? Well, I'll tell you, I can't speak on the future. In fact, if I knew about the future, I sure as fuck would not be doing these live streams. So I'll just be honest with you. I'd be doing something else if I could tell the future. The other part is I can tell you that it has worked since 2016 when I first put it out there. So it's worked since then. And I think there's something called the Lindy principle where you could kind of, I mean, it's not exact, but if something has like worked or been effective for some time in the past, and you're at this point in time in the present, you could kind of reliably count on it being a reliable, to use that word too many times, a reliable concept in the future. So I don't know if it's going to work in the future, but it's worked for a little while. And it continues to work okay. Oh, Thane always jumps in. Says, do the twist, like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, we have 17 likes. Would love to have a few more. And I know, here's what happens. Again, like 90% of the people out there watch the replay, which is great. So one thing I didn't do today, I didn't put the little countdown screen. I just got into it, started talking. So we'll do that. We'll do that. All right. Laughing Hyena, thank you. You bookmarked the live session so you can check out the previous live streams that I did on choosing a niche. All right. Alex says, can I find your video about KGR Rule of 63? So I don't think I have a video on Rule of 63. And I say the Rule of 63 is bullshit. So that's my claim. If the Rule of 63 was accurate, then I would have created a video on it. I do have a video on why 250 in the KGR. And there's a specific reason for that. But Alex, I'm not mad at you for asking about Rule of 63. Some other, actually, they're my friends. I know the blogs that came up with like the Rule of 63 idea. But they really they took my formula and then did a little math and moved the numerator and denominator, did a little shuffle in there. The algebra nerds know what I'm talking about. And they just reversed the formula, and then they called it the Rule of 63, but I call bullshit, and there's a reason why I don't use the Rule of 63. I'm a bad affiliate, just in general. All right, so Gaz does say, I did get the site to Alex. The first 3 months, I flatlined because I made a mistake with the site URL. Google Search Console has really fully tracked for about a month after Alex spotted the mistake. I got Alex to look and he fixed the problem and it flatlined for 3 months, but it's been, okay, gotcha. Okay. And for the people that wonder why I just put on the hood here is there's a vent. It's like a mirror image here, so I'm trying to center it up. All right, there's a vent right up here. You can't see it. You can see the pipe right here. but there's a vent and it'll blow on my head. And even though it's not cold air or anything, I mean, it's wintertime, but my bald head, it gets cold. So the hood is critical. The hood's so critical. And a quick note, I mentioned it before, but if you're not signed up for the email list, nichesiteproject.com, click the green button. I'll send you a ton of stuff. Actually, it's like all the templates and systems that I use. And I give you all the things that I use. So I don't try to keep any of that hidden or anything like that. It's just freely available. You just got to sign up for the email list. I send you helpful emails, let you know about live streams like this. Eld says, does Google index page breaks? Say, for example, my post has 5 page break in Google index third. Is that a thing? So this is one of those odd situations where I know all the words in your question, but I do not know what you are asking. I think you might be asking about your archive pages, like a category page where WordPress paginates or paginates that long category page. So you're asking if Google indexed those subsequent pages? The answer is probably. It probably does. That is not the best thing to do. I would much rather have those category or tag or other archive pages no indexed. That is the right way to do it. I think I answered your question. You can let me know. Every now and then I get too close to the microphone. Like, I don't know if you could tell, but like I'm on it. And I think like the broadcasters actually like talk right into it like that, which I guess I can do. It's very close. I think you can tell it's on my mouth now. I mean, the whole microphone thing is moving. Goss says I look like a Jedi. Nice. Yep. Got to protect the brain, protect the head. Yeah, it just gets a little cold. I need to probably just close the vent. Probably that's a good idea. So one thing that we can take a quick look at, which was actually enlightening and a little bit shocking. Let me pull up the page here. Take just a second. But yeah, I've been updating this page over on Niche Site Project. It's going to take me a little bit of time, but it's this one. Give me one sec. Boom. So it's this one here, and I put the little, hey, I updated it today. And trying to tighten it up. It's a little long. I think it's running at like 6,000 words or something like that right now. And so I'm just trying to shorten it a little bit. So as I've, and I added this little yellow box here for people to find other things. Highly recommend this page. I provided different information about each one of the sites that I review. And this is what I was talking about, guys. So what I'm going to do and what I did in the past is I reviewed, currently there's 17 on here. I did the written word review here, and then I did a short video, which I'll probably aim for, roughly 8 to 10 minutes per review. I will probably provide a little bit, different information, but some similar information is here. So I talk about when the site was founded, the number of keywords ranking in the top 100, estimated number of visitors, and the domain rating. The previous 3 that I just mentioned are all from Ahrefs. So I'll, provide that information there. I also do the, domain authority, even though fewer and fewer people are using domain authority, which I think is a good move. Domain authority is like kind of old. The Moz backlink database is kind of dated, and they've been behind for years. I think they took on venture funding and kind of went to shit. I also let you know about the number of index pages. So it's not like an exact answer of like what is on the site, but it gives you an idea of how much is indexed in Google. And then I talk briefly, I actually added this micro niche site term, even though I mentioned I don't like using micro niche site, but people do use it. And oftentimes actually on these live streams, I think people see other videos or they hear other people talking and they talk about micro niche sites, but I don't like to think about it that way. So I tried to be clear while using the vocabulary that is part of the vernacular. Talk about authority sites, spelled it out specifically. And then, top feature right here is the best roof box, which is kind of fun because we have data from Alex along the way. So one interesting thing is I pulled some additional data, and we see this graph is actually a little bit old, so it's from February 2020, so I should probably pull some different graph, but I figured I'd leave it just to provide some context for people. But Alex did sell the site for $70K and made a total profit of $79,000, which is pretty awesome. Give a little more commentary and then put the little video here. So the very interesting thing that I noticed was some of the kind of, honestly, the crappier sites that I did not think would still be ranking, I thought I was going to have to remove them, are still getting traffic, and it's kind of been consistent. So Car Seat Answers is one of them. I'll just mention two because that's all I made it through. So this site is still ranking for 4,700 keywords in the top 100 and getting about 3,800 visitors per month. There's only 45 pages. There was only 45 pages about 4 years ago when I first looked at this site. They haven't added any more content. It looks exactly the same. I don't know if they've updated anything, but they haven't added anything. 45 pages, that's it. 3,800 visitors per month. That is the estimate from Ahrefs, which is typically much lower than the actual traffic. So my guess is it's at least getting 7,500 per month, or right, that's the minimum. There's a strong chance it's getting more than that. There's a strong chance it's getting 3-4 times as much traffic. 45 pages, that's it. The domain rating is 31. It's ranking for the 4,700 keywords. And you can see it used to get, about 20,000 visitors there in early 2016. And then it dropped off a cliff, but it's been consistent. And the last little updates have actually helped the site, which is shocking because it's so narrow and the content, in my opinion, is not even that great. Like overall, I'm not super impressed with the content. So a little shocking. And like I said, this is the stuff that I'm updating. So I'm going through, updating the data, pulling out some of the, the commentary, and then just making sure things are in good shape. So this Live Longer Running, also founded around 2013. This is ranking for 900 keywords, and last summer in 2020, it was only ranking for 475. So it's actually like increased. Now, that said, it's only getting 243 visitors per month, which is not very much. And even at the underestimate, the nature of estimating search engine traffic, there's a good chance, the site's probably getting, less than 1,000 visitors per month. It does have a DR of 30 in a lot of referring domains, 81. 33 pages are indexed. So it's a pretty small site overall. And you can look and see the same sort of, high level of traffic, and then it dropped off. Now, the interesting thing with this is treadmills are expensive. So even if it's only getting a little bit of traffic, it still could be making a respectable amount of money. And when you look back, when I first reviewed it, it was getting, a few thousand visitors per month. At one point, it was getting, I would say this, about 7,000 visitors per month. And for a niche like treadmills, there's a good chance it was earning a lot of money. Treadmills are expensive. And when you look back at the amount of traffic that they were getting then, you sell a few treadmills, that's, a few $100 potentially. So those are the ones that we're going to go through today. I'll continue to update these, and kind of the fun part as I was getting back into it, every time I do write or update content on niche site projects specifically, I enjoy it. It's like you can, type some words, bang on the keyboard, and then people find it. It's usually rewarding. Like, you get a piece of output at the end of the day, and you get it pretty quick. And I'm, fingers crossed. I actually used to get a decent amount of traffic on this post, and I'm hoping, I will improve the content so that it'll be helpful for the searcher, and that it, will provide more information. And like I mentioned before, it's something that I'll be able to do pretty effectively, hopefully, is publish the teardowns and then link over to this post. And from within the post, I can link to the specific teardowns, which you probably saw as we were scrolling through. Sometimes I've embedded a video, but more likely than not, I'm just going to put like a link, a text link over, and people can watch it if they want to. And I'm hoping that will get more views on the videos and get more eyes and clicks over to the website as well. And if anyone has a specific blog out there, especially in the internet marketing space, I'd love to get a link over to it. It turns out Niche Site Project has a decent number of links. I spent a lot of time doing guest posting for several years, and I got a lot of links. And then the other part is I know a lot of people since I've been doing this for a little while. So people do link to my sites because I have put out content over time. Dan asks if it's cold in the basement. I have my hood up. I just mentioned this a second ago. There's a vent right there, and it blows right on my head. So even if it's like just, it's not cold air, but if it's not specifically warm, sometimes it'll get my head a little cool. Yeah. Dan it's like we're in a time warp, which technically we are. So yeah, I'm going to do more website teardowns. I was talking about this specific page that I've recently updated. I'll be doing more updates as well. And I'll be, basically, I will be doing updated teardowns, but here's the deal, right? And this is just my thought process. It's part of the reason why I answer questions the way I do sometimes. And I try not to be like too jerky, just in general. But let's take a look at my channel really quick. So we're over here on the channel. And one pro tip for anyone that doesn't know, you can go to a channel. And then if you are interested, for example, on choosing a niche, you can click right here and just say, how to choose a niche, return, and then it'll search just on my channel. Pro tip. So if you do have questions like that, you could just type it in, or if you wonder website teardown, you can type that in there too. So one thing, if you look at my channel here, scroll down, live streams, Amazon affiliate niche website examples. These are all teardowns right here. And I think there's a whole other section too. So I won't play them. So there are 21 here in this particular playlist, but I'm pretty sure I've done more than that. So the punchline, yeah, Dan, I know. That's the other part of the live stream phenomenon, right? You may pop in for a second, you're like, hey, what's going on? I have a question about X, and it's like, we just talked about that. So can't blame anyone for that. But when you look here, you see I have done quite a few teardowns in the past. But I can't blame anyone because I don't necessarily go to the channels that I watch and look through their archive. The other very odd part about this whole thing is there's too many videos. Does anyone know how many videos I have? Is that something we can even see in here? I have vidIQ, so there may be some stats on here. Stats. How many videos does it tell us? View rank, subscribe rank, 700 subscribers per month, blah, blah, blah. So it doesn't show us the total. Will it do lifetime? No. There's that tool, Social Blade, and it'll tell you how many videos. I have like 1,300 videos or something like that. The point being, I can't blame anyone for not knowing all the videos that I have or anything like that. I don't know all of them either. And yeah, if you pop down to, a section like this, it's tough. The problem is I've probably answered most of the questions that can be asked. So when I do hear like Laughing Hyena, when you're like, hey, how do you choose a niche? I'm like, didn't we already talk about that like super recently? So that is why I sound impatient at times. And there's no reason for that. I mean, I'm voluntarily doing these live streams. No one's making me. I do question it though, because it most of the time it doesn't. The interesting thing with YouTube is like they kind of put you on a path to want to continue to grow. Live streams generally do not help the channel grow. Generally, these are good. Live streams are good for building community and doing things with membership. But I generally don't monetize like at all on YouTube. So I know some of my peers out there have memberships, so they're earning money from memberships and stuff, and I don't have a mechanism for that. I would rather just give the stuff away for free than to earn a small amount of money from it. So I earn money in other ways, but typically I'm like, I'd rather just give it away, no barrier to entry, and just move forward with that. So YouTube's a weird thing. You got to figure out, how to make it work for yourself. Or you end up working for YouTube. So I'm trying to figure it out, always trying to figure it out. All right, we're going to wrap up here in a second. I see Gaz has a question. Dan, you got anything on your mind? What's going on? Duke tells me that I have 1,426 videos on the channel per Keywords Everywhere. That's crazy. There was a time, and I think it was back when you were watching Duke and Mark, who I don't know if Mark's still on. I would do 2 live streams per week, and people would make fun of me because I was working in the guest bedroom, and they were like, "Hey, why is your bed behind you? You're a loser." I'm like, "It's a free video, dude. If you don't like it, just don't watch it." So it's the internet. Love it. Love it. All right, Gaz says this. In Google Analytics, there's a data window that shows traffic from a direct route, organic route, and referrals. What are referrals? Organic backlinks. Referrals are when traffic comes through a backlink. Is it an organic backlink? Well, I don't know. It just means traffic came through a link. So that's all we can say about it. We can't draw any other conclusions other than traffic came through a link. They're referred. Cool. All right. Dan says, I have a site that's about 2 years old. You're trying to figure out how to get it to the next level. It almost made 5K in November. We'll do about 6K in December, but then off months, it does about 500. You're ranking in the top 10 on so many good keywords, but struggling to capture the first and second position. Well, Dan, I'll act kind of as a therapist here. What do you think you should do? What have you already tried? And what has seemed to work? What do you think isn't working? And I mean, the fact is, we can narrow it down to really like 3 areas. So potentially, you can look at some on-site SEO pieces, and that could include the actual content and the way that it's structured, the subheadings, the words on the page. It could also be on-site SEO, looking at internal linking structure and the way that you're using the internal link juice, so to speak, through the site. Then the other 2 areas. So first is the on-site SEO. You can add potentially more content that is topically relevant. So think more like content clusters or silos, or I think those are the 2 main terms. So you potentially could find, say, 5 or 10 or 20 questions that are related to a topic that you are trying to rank for, and create, short posts answering all of those. Those would be a content cluster. Link them all together. You can put it in a silo if you want to. You can publish them separately. The linking is what is important. And then the big one that is a huge pain in the ass is link building. So most likely that's usually the piece that people don't like to do, because it's hard and the feedback loop is very long. So you may spend months trying to link build, and it seems like nothing's happening. And then a few months later, your rankings may jump. So the link building piece is so important, and you can get excellent results without link building, and a lot of people do. If you follow certain people, they will tell you that link building is an essential part of getting the most out of your site. So Dan, I think the thing is, there's like 3 things to do. Those are the 3 things. Probably do them all. And the link building one is probably the most effective, the longest to get any feedback, whether it's working, and you may not know for a long time. I had a friend who has busted his butt doing guest posts all across the internet, and it took about, he incrementally got better, but his website has exploded with traffic, and he has gotten his domain rating from something like a 30 to like low 70s. So he got a tremendous amount of backlinks from really good sites over and over again. And his traffic has exploded and his revenue has exploded as well. So it took a long time and it was really hard, but he got great results. Shiraz says, can we generate good income with car related website and affiliate marketing? The answer is yes. Generally, I mean, the fun part is you generally can earn a lot from almost any niche. And I'm going to put a link in here just for you, Shiraz. And you can see some of the affiliate programs out there in the automobile area. Follow that link. There's a lot of affiliate programs. Okay. And Dan further says, you haven't done anything shady, no PBNs, mainly pumping out content. Just wonder if the only thing left is links. Yes. And getting some stronger authority because I hardly have any authority. Yeah. I mean, the fact is, another problem with YouTube and the internet, to paint with really broad strokes here, is I got a video like this too, so I can't blame anyone. It's all right. I'll talk about the meta part in a second. Basically, it's really helpful as me, someone putting out content, and my peers to say how to be successful with niche sites without link building, because that is the part that is unknown. It's the harder part than writing the content. I mean, if you've taken the action to set up the site and start publishing content, you've already jumped some hurdles. Like you're doing some stuff and you're taking action, which is great. But there's the uncertainty of trying to get links. And we know that Google doesn't like us to try to build links. They want them to come naturally. And that takes a really long time. So you have to be a little self-promotional and you have to try to get those links if you're going to make a go of it. Basically, you don't have to build links. I mean, you can do just fine without building links, but if you build links, things go faster. So I'm part of the problem because I have, a video. Part of the reason I was able to promote KGR heavily was it's like how to get traffic without backlinks, how to find low competition keywords, all that kind of stuff. So the meta part of it is like me and my peers out there putting out content specifically on YouTube, but it can be on any platform that we're trying to gain a following. We're trying to do a certain thing, which might be to get views, get subscribers, and get people engaged with our videos and our content. Our goal to put out a video like how to get traffic and be successful without building backlinks, the goal might not specifically be to help someone build the biggest, most successful site they can. It might just be, how can someone be successful without building backlinks? So if you change the question a little bit and you change the context and you think, how can I get the most out of my website? How can I reach the potential of my website? It's not by not building links. I'll tell you that. I don't know exactly what you have to do for everyone's case, but not doing like half of the fucking puzzle is not how you get the biggest website. It's not how you become the most successful, which I'm not trying to become the most successful in anything I'm doing. So yeah, it's interesting. And when you peel back and you think about it from an incentives point of view, if you look at what I'm trying to do by putting out a piece of content that tells you You could be successful without building backlinks. That's cool. If you're trying to go to the next level, right, Dan? $5K a month is pretty cool. If you average it out, whatever you're earning, if it's $2,000 a month, like that's pretty good. Like people are pretty happy with that. But if the question is, how do I take it to the next level? You will have to figure out how to promote and market your site. You call it link building, call it something else. It could be networking in a strategic way, which is kind of how I try to frame it when we go deeper into a conversation. And Dan says that you are paranoid about links. Cool. Okay. Dan, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to snag that question and use it for a podcast Q&A question. I should have recorded this in a format that I could use for a podcast, but I'll probably just record it fresh. All right, last question from Creative Ideas. My friend says affiliate sites are difficult to rank compared to AdSense sites. Is it true? Not necessarily. I think we can find examples, like your friend can show you examples where it's been easier or harder for affiliate sites versus AdSense sites to rank. You might, let's peel it back and look at the actual components of ranking here. So if you're thinking about the keywords, and if you're thinking about AdSense sites being informational keywords, I'm simplifying it so I can answer the question. If you're thinking about AdSense sites being informational, and instead of AdSense, let's say display ads, I'm going to generalize this so it's a useful question. So if you have a site that is informational in nature, there is a chance that it will be easier to answer those informational questions, those informational queries and keywords, and rank a little bit easier than if you look at the other side, which might be best product name. Those could be a little more difficult because they are specifically commercial intent. So, Creative Ideas, I must ask you, and this is just a hypothetical question. So, your friend says it's harder to rank X. Is your goal to rank the websites specifically, or is it to earn money? Now you can earn money in both. And the point that I'm getting to, and the I guess the point that I will sort of make an example is it will be probably a little harder to rank the affiliate keywords, but there's a strong chance you're going to earn more per visitor with the affiliate content. Does that mean you should do the affiliate content? No, I mean, it could be harder to rank. You may be able to get 10 times as many visitors on the informational content, and you might earn the same amount using display ads. So the point that I'm making is just because it might be harder to rank an affiliate site versus an AdSense site, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do one or the other. And here's the thing. It's a dumb question. No offense. It's a dumb question because you can have a site that has affiliate content and informational content. So is one easier or harder to rank? It's a theoretical question. You'll have to look at each niche. You can find examples to prove your case in either example. But the reality is you don't have to choose. So it's a bad question. You don't have to choose. You can do both. Oh, and Dominus, what's up? You are here just in time for me to sign off. Thanks for hopping in. I do need to jet. My voice is kind of going away for me at this point. So I need to go to the gym. I need to get out of here, and we'll catch you next week. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Sign up for the email list over at nichesiteproject.com. And if you are watching the replay, thanks for catching the replay. I know most of the views do come in the replay. So leave a comment. Be sure to like the video and check out my other channel.